Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to hold B-side post plant as a T in CS2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. By the way, we are doing free giveaways every month. In these giveaways, you can win various CS2 skins and free CS2 course access passes created by a Faceit level 10 coach who has experience in high tier CS2 teams. To sign up, simply visit the CS2 post giveaway page and follow the instructions. Link is in the description. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So let's begin by talking about the position that Ts usually play in post plant scenarios. Usually, Ts play in several spots towards B side. The main position that Ts usually play in is behind this large pillar in default. This position is one of the best positions to hold in a post plant scenario because you can look at every single angle. If you just flick towards the left, then you can see single door. On the right you can see double doors. Then you can see the right side of ramp and you can see the left side of ramp. This position is ideal, however, you do need to have extra utility in case you get mollied, because if you do, you will have to move to an open area, which will become a bit more difficult. That's why I always suggest holding a smoke with you if you want to play it very safely. The second position that is also very good, however it's mainly focused towards single door, is this position on the right corner of default. When you stand close to this box, you can simply watch single door and you can focus towards it and you have full cover. Just make sure to sometimes crouch when you stand here if you expect CTs to push ramp, because they might spot your head if they're standing from positions like so. They can spot your head and instantly headshot you. That's why I just always suggest crouching and hold this angle like so. For this position you also need some utility. Ideally you should have a smoke just in case you get mollied, because after that you will have to move towards this default, and then you will have this large gap where CTs can definitely shoot you as you cross across the boxes towards the default. A very common position in B side to camp in is dark. This is a very good position if you want to focus mainly on double doors. However, you do have to be paranoid since you might get mollied, or CTs can jump up like this and then clear you like so, and they will spot your head instantly. However, you will spot them first, so it's a matter of if you will react quick enough to kill them. In this position, having some utility is also very useful if you get mollied, because you don't have a lot of ways to rotate. And if you stay in this corner, you shouldn't stay if you're the only one left and alive in a post plant scenario, because if you do, then you will get pressured from several angles at the same time. That's why I mainly suggest standing closer to this box and then focusing towards this area where CTs can push through ramp. And then if you hear any sound from window or from double doors or from single doors, then you can assist your teammates. In my opinion, the worst position that you should definitely not play in is this corner, unless you know that everyone is going towards ramp and no one is going to go through double doors or single doors or window. Then you can play in this corner. However, if you do not know any info or do not have any control over this room towards vents, then playing in this position is very risky because you're open to several angles at the same time. Another very good position that I even prefer over the default position is on top of the scaffolding behind default, because this position is less open towards squeaky. That means you don't have to focus towards it too much, and you can focus on the ramp at the same time from both of the angles, and you can move really quickly and you still have cover. You can also focus towards window and double doors, but make sure you focus towards this angle of window most likely, because CTs love to push and then just quickly clear these angles before they break the window to make any noise. They can jump up this box, and as they jump up they can see your head throughout this pillar's gaps. And you don't need a lot of utility for this position, because it doesn't matter really if you rotate or not. After a molly you will be open. Rather you jump off or you just move to the corners, it doesn't matter, you will be open either way. That's why it doesn't matter if you have utility or not. It matters if you have the aim ability to shoot in long range fights. Depending on the info, Ts can also take control of this double doors room, because this room is very important if you want to take more control and have more flexibility in a post plant scenario. You can even hide behind these doors and you can just hold the corner like so, or you can just stand in front of the door, and then if you hear someone running fast, then you can open the door and catch them off guard. Or instead you can just camp it out and then peek quickly and catch them off guard as well. If you have control of this room, you can also stand in this corner, which is a huge off angle since CTs mainly focus towards the window as they run. They focus towards this angle and they definitely don't clear this angle first. That's why if you want a really good off angle, then you can stand in this corner or move slightly to the left to go even deeper so you're less visible. In window, you can also camp through this corner, however make sure you're not visible from anyone who is going ramp, since you might be spotted by CTs who are rather going throughout this angle. They can spot you quickly and you might not spot them at all, or even CTs who are focused towards this angle, they can also spot you and call for info or rather kill you themselves. Another very good angle is deep into this corner of double doors room. Here you can just stand quickly and hold the position like so. It's also a very good off angle, even though it might be checked oftenly, it's still a very deep angle and it has a way better positioning than the CTs have, because CTs have to run downstairs and then their recoil kind of messes up depending on what weapon they have, of course. However, as they move down, they mainly focus towards this room firstly, then they focus towards here. Which brings me to my next point, because this position is also a very good position to have an off angle. You can just stand more towards the left maybe, or more towards the right depending on how confident you are in your aim. If you're standing more to the left, then you're open for a 1v1 duel until one of you dies. Or if you move more to the right, you can play a bit safer and see if you get tagged more than you tag the enemy. Then you can quickly back off and still have some chances to run away. You can rather drop towards dark, or you can shift through scaffolding. You can even make a fake noise that you drop down and then just shift throughout the scaffolding itself. That's why running away from these areas is also very easy and very effective, because you might have extra support from your teammates if they're playing from side. And of course, if you do have more players alive and you see that CTs aren't really entering towards vent already, you can also take the control of this room. This room is also very good because you might have control of vent. You can hold this angle, or you can drop down towards vent and go inside it more and hold it like so. However, make sure you watch secret as well. If you have the control, you can rather hold it from here. You can hold it standing here in this corner, or you can hold it before you can stand here. Just make sure to cover your teammate, whoever is watching vents. You can also just stand in this position. However, make sure that you are prepared to crouch if you get spotted and you don't hit your shots instantly, because the CTs can only see your head while you can see the entire body of theirs. That means that it will be way more difficult for you to kill them than for them to kill you. Another good idea is taking control of single door. If you manage to take it, then you can rather stay in this area and hold for the vents as well, because you usually hear CTs running throughout this area until they get to vents. You can instantly call for your teammates and then you have more information around the map. If you want to jump spot, you can also do it by standing against the roof of this double door and just jump spotting like so. You can spot CTs as they cross and then you can call for info. However, playing like this is way more risky, because if CTs decide to shift through vents, then you might be caught as you are jumping, because the CTs can't hear the sound as you jump. If you want, you can also stand to the right of these stairs. That way you're less expected, because when CTs peek out, they mostly focus towards this area where the double doors are, and they don't really flick to this side that often. If you went towards B side for ramp, then one of you can definitely stay towards this area to hold the flank. However, make sure that no one from side is pushing so you don't get spotted. You can rather stand in this corner or stand in the opposite corner, it's up to you. However, I suggest standing in this corner more, because you're only focused through one angle and maybe through double doors if someone crosses out, whilst as you stand here, you might be visible through single door, double doors and window at the same time. You can also stand behind this box and just wait for CTs to run across towards ramp, and after that you can just focus on them from behind. However, it's way more risky because you're way further away from the side. That means that you will have to rotate way longer, and that means you're very isolated from your team. That's why you can't really help them out if they get pressured by CTs. If one of you is covering window, then one of you can stand in this corner. This corner is less expected by CTs, and you have to make sure that your weapon is hugging the left wall. It doesn't cross like so, because then it becomes visible for CTs who are standing through this angle. That's why if you stand here and just hold it like so, you can catch CTs off guard as they enter into the site. They will definitely not check you most of the time, and if you spot someone running through here, you can just instantly flick and focus towards the angle. Standing on the opposite corner doesn't work, because the ramp is very open and CTs who are going here will definitely spot you. If you want to play very risky but you have a lot of control over the entire site and the outside, if you for example have the control of double door room, window and single door, then you can stand in a more open position like so. You can stand here and just micromanage both of the angles because it's a very large off angle and CTs sometimes don't expect you to be standing here since of how open it is. However, make sure you don't get caught on timing because CTs sometimes love to push through both sides at the same time to catch you off guard. That's why if you get one kill, you might not get the other one. In a post plant scenario, you do need to have some utility in order to have more control. If you want to waste CT's time, you can rather molly ramp, or you can smoke it as well depending on how many smokes you have. Even if you smoke one of the sides, it's way better because then you have more advantages since you only have to hold one position. If the doors aren't open and they're not broken, then I don't find it necessary to smoke them because it doesn't really matter if they open them on timing unless you really stand in angles where you are paranoid about people pushing out quickly while opening the door. Then you can quickly smoke them. However, in my opinion, it's way better to smoke window, for example. If you're standing in default and you need to peek quickly but you don't have a flash, you can quickly throw this flash. You just aim on top of this roof above, standing close to default, and right and left click throw at the same time. However, when it comes to utility on holding B in post plant scenarios, you mainly have to smoke one of the areas. As I mentioned previously, you can rather smoke window or you can smoke one or both of the positions in ramp. Smoking double doors or single door isn't as effective as smoking these positions. That's why I suggest to leave them alone and instead you can take the control of them, or instead you can just play off of them. You can always hold these angles when standing from these positions and you can mainly focus on them even from default. But in general, it is way better to have some control over single door and double doors because then you have more control and more flexibility to rotate and assist your teammates at the same time. Thank you everyone for watching the video. This was how to hold B-side post plant as a T in CS2. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.